Kickin' It in the 757 is brought to you by the Mambo Room Cultural Dance Center and by McCallum Pressure Wash and Painting, home of the worry-free guarantee.
This week on Kickin' It in the 757, we take a little road trip to Northern Virginia to visit with one of Virginia Beach's very own, who proudly served our country in the military and is now giving back to those very same people. Next, we get into the holiday swing of things with a champagne tasting with our friends at Town Point Club. We tag along with our sponsor as he goes to the Mayflower Marathon to help donate to those in need. And we finish up with a new edition of the 5-Minute Chef, Andrea DiCarlo of La Bella in Ghent. All that and more this week on Kickin' It in the 757. Now you're probably wondering right now why I'm sitting on the fender of an Indy car in a race shop that's located in Loudoun County for a show called Kickin' It in the 757. But it all makes sense in just a second as I introduce you to a gentleman who's done not only big things for our country, but also within the business world, and now with an organization that he's recently created to benefit the men and women of our military. So join me in this week's 757 Spotlight.
David Tilton, Chairman of the Board, Military to Motorsports. "20 years military in the U.S. Navy as a diver, and retired out of a bunch of groups that I worked with in the SEAL teams. But it really started, back when I was a kid, and my grandfather was a photographer, and I wanted to be a photographer. So after I graduated from high school and went on to college, when I finished, I decided, no better way to go and see the world and be able to shoot photographs and everything, but to join the military. So I joined the Navy. I spent a couple of years training in photography, motion picture photography, and then underwater photography as a Navy diver, and then worked my way up to Virginia Beach, where I spent 10 years with the Navy's underwater photo team. And we did quite a few things for the military and for groups outside the military that supported military documentaries and things like that. Then after that, I went on to be stationed with the SEAL teams all the way up to Naval Special Warfare Development Group out of Dam Neck, and I did tactics and techniques for the SEAL teams and documentaries and things along the way. After that, I went over and fought a couple of times over in Afghanistan and got injured over there, came back, and I retired after 20 years. I came out not knowing what I was going to do. And I was lucky that a friend of mine that I'd worked with in the past offered me a job at their company. And I worked there for a couple of years and decided that that just wasn't for me, and that I wanted to do something where I was my own boss and I created my own destiny and future. So I started my own company out of my garage to help the military and to build systems, surveillance systems for the military. After quite a few years of hard work, ups and downs, times when I didn't know where my next meal was going to come from, and times where I was riding high on cloud nine. Finally, we got to the point after about 7 years that we won a couple of major contracts with the government, and the company really started to take off. I took advantage of every single opportunity that there was that was put in front of me when I was in the military, from flying in backseat F-14s to going out on deployments where I was all by myself. So I had to make my own success. So I learned a lot of that in the military, and I took that and applied it outside of the military to the commercial world. Well, when I had my company, my manufacturing company, I wanted to try to help the military while I was also professionally building equipment for the military. And one of the things I wanted to do was help an organization called the Special Operations Warrior Foundation. So I knew a guy over at Volkswagen of America who was the head of racing, and they had these two Volkswagen Beetles in the Global Rallycross driven by Scott Speed and Tanner Faust. And I got to be good friends with Scott after I was introduced to him. And I said, it'd be a really neat idea to be able to put the Special Operations Warrior Foundation emblem on the side of their car. The military people they collected like magnets, and they loved it. And it really took off and helped the foundation. So after that, I got to be really good friends with Michael Andretti, and he asked me if I wanted to be a chassis owner in one of the Indy cars, and I said, that's not something I'd ever thought about in my life, but I went up there and sat down with him and looked at it, and I said, sure, let's do it. So he asked me if I wanted to be what chassis I wanted, and I didn't know what he meant. So he goes, well, I got 2 Speedway chassis for the Indy 500. One that's Alexander Rossi's chassis, he just won the Indy 500, and one that's this guy, Takuma Sato, who's brand new to our team. And I looked at him and I said, you know what? I've got this weird, funny feeling. I'll go with the Sato car. Well, they all looked at me like I had a third eye. They're like, come on, Rossi, come on, Rossi. And I'm like, no, I'm taking Sato. Lo and behold, comes the month of May, and we go over to the Indy 500. Make a long story short, Takuma Sato wins the Indy 500. The most unbelievable feeling that I could have. And to be on Memorial Day weekend, we had so many of the military there. It was just, you know, you have goosebumps. I mean, it's crazy. Not only that, I have my father with me, I have my son with me. We're standing there drinking milk in the winner's circle. Most unbelievable feeling in the world. And then I decided that's a great platform to be able to continue the military to motorsports. So that's why we built this car. Well, the Indy car you see in front of you right here is an actual Indianapolis race car out of Andretti Autosport. This is a car that we've got ready to go up to the Veterans Day Parade up in New York City. And it's going to be up on a float. We're going to be promoting the Military to Motorsports project that we're working on. And what we're there to do is to bring awareness to the military people and all the veterans of what possibilities they have in the motorsports industry. And we're going to help the veterans into the motorsports industry from racing, actual being on a race team, to the supporters that help us, like a Napa or a DHL or somebody like that. You know, really try to help these veterans when they get out of the military to get a really good job out there in the commercial world, because all they know is the military. And I believe it is our responsibility to help place them in the commercial world, because they've put their lives on the line for us. It's time for us to put something on the line for them. You know, Virginia Beach means so much to me because the memories that have been there are endless. You know, from the military to meeting some of the best friends that I've ever had in my life. You know, and I met my wife there. Heck, Kevin, you were my best man in the wedding. But, you know, there are so many memories, so much history that is made down there in Virginia Beach. And then to be able to go back there and literally touch the people that I used to fight right alongside and be able to help them is just, that's the reward to me. Everything else in the world can go away, but the reward of being able to help those veterans, that's number one. If you want to get a hold of Military to Motorsports, please go to www.militarytomotorsports.com. We've got all the information there. We put out on the website a lot of the jobs that are available. Go ahead and submit your resume. We'll take a look at them, and we'll try to fit you with the best job that we think that you could be fit with. And we welcome you to come in and do this.
We'd like to give a special thanks to our sponsor, McCallum Pressure Washing and Painting, who made that segment you just viewed possible. Thanks, Bob. And speaking of McCallum Pressure Washing and Painting, coming up after the break, we're going to hang out with him as he does his annual pilgrimage to the Mayflower Marathon, as he delivers over 5,000 pounds of turkey to the Southeastern Food Bank. Coming up next on Kickin' It in the 757.
Who are you?
Technically, I'm one of Santa's little helpers, and I'm responsible for those of you on the naughty list this year.
The naughty list for what?
The naughty interior paint list. You know, for things like nail pops and settle cracks, ugly trim and molding, and worst of all, lack of color.
But what if Mommy and Daddy can't get it done by Christmas?
No worries. Just call by the end of the year and we'll get you off the list.
Are you the elf on the shelf?
Yeah, sure, kid. Whatever. Just call McCallum.
We aren't sponsors of NASCAR teams, but we will sponsor your next do-it-yourself project. Just go to taylorsdoit.com or text Taylors to 42828 and receive a $10 sponsorship towards your next project with us. I'm Joe Taylor. For 86 years, Taylor's Do-It Centers have been your neighborhood partner for home and garden projects right here in Tidewater. So when it's time for your next project, let's do it together. Oh, and that NASCAR thing, it would be pretty cool though.
Welcome back. We're here on a cold, blustery Saturday morning at Walmart here in Virginia Beach for a great cause and a great reason. Seeing how it's a holiday season, what better thing to do than to give back? And that's exactly what McCallum Pressure Wash and Painting and his team are doing as they're picking up over 5,000 pounds. That's right, over 5,000 pounds of turkeys to give away to various groups, including our final destination, Pembroke Mall, where we're going to be dropping them off for the Mayflower Marathon, FM 99 and the Fox 106.9's event they do annually. I'm here with Ian at our first stop, and we're going to be dropping off several dozen turkeys for military personnel. And Ian, can you tell us more about who's going to receive these turkeys and why?
Yes, McCallum Pressure Wash and Painting team for about 3 years now has donated turkeys to students during a training command on base because they can't be with their families. And we really appreciate it, and the entire crew helps out, and it makes it feel like they're welcome.
I am here with Barry at Salem United Methodist Church. And Barry, can you just share with our viewers who these turkeys that Bob McCown and his crew are donating, who they're for?
They are for people that we have from the social services. We have names. We have 8 baskets that we put together so that they will have a Thanksgiving that they would normally not have.
I'm here with Tom, representing the Food Bank of Southeastern Virginia. First of all, what was your reaction when you saw 5,000 pounds of turkey arriving?
Oh man, it's just awesome. It's the big donations like that really help us to meet our goal for this weekend. So we just a big thanks to McCallum Pressure Wash and Paint for bringing that in. There's about 171,000 people who are struggling with hunger throughout our region, and so you know what we do is we try and get food that our community donates, that great retail partners donate, and then food that we can rescue from those partners and get it into the hands of people that need it. And obviously having an event like this and seeing the community come together to meet this need during the holidays is a great thing to be a part of.
I am standing here with a man that needs no introduction, Mike Arlo of 106.9.
I'm looking around to see who you're talking about.
You thought I had a mouse in my pocket, didn't you? Could you share with our viewers how this came to be?
Sure. It kicks off every Thanksgiving holiday, and 6 a.m. Friday morning runs through 3 o'clock on Sunday afternoon, and we broadcast live, and we have folks taking donations 24 hours a day. We started out in the 70s doing benefits with the food bank, and then in the 90s we began doing the marathons. So if you make a donation, it's on someone's holiday table this year, and we just received 5,000 of them 5,000 pounds of them a minute ago, and that is a drop in the bucket for the need. So if you're thinking about it next year, come on down and make a contribution. Every can counts, every dollar makes a difference, and that's true.
I think that's pretty well said, and I think we can end it right there with Mike Arlo, veteran of the radio industry and somebody that I've always considered to be an icon. Thanks so much for taking part in this and volunteering. It means a lot, especially when you lead by example, Mike.
Well, thank you, and I'm going to get back to work.
Kudos and hats off to Bob McCown and his crew at McCallum Pressure Wash and Painting. Also to the people at the local area food banks, and of course to FM 99 and the Fox 106.9 for the wonderful job they do every year, putting on and promoting the Mayflower Marathon, helping those who are less fortunate. So until next year, it's a wrap. If you didn't know how already, we're going to show you the proper way, yes, the proper way to open up a bottle of champagne. for this year's holiday season. Coming up after the break, Kicking It in the 757.
Stuff is breaking down all around me. How to get it fixed is starting to confine me. There's only one place that I can depend on. My do-it-center store will help get the job done. We love do-it-yourself, and I love money we're saving. Here's where I get it all at my do-it-center store. Give me a hammer, hand me a saw. I'm not slowing down till I've done it all. I love saving money and time at my do-it-center store.
Okay, it's decision time for your next painting or pressure washing job. So make the right call to McCallum Pressure Wash and Painting and our all-star lineup. McCallum Pressure Wash and Painting. And don't forget to ask about our college football special.
Now, if you've been following us here on Kicking It in the 757 over the last year, you know that we've gotten to experience wine tastings, beer tastings, the infamous tequila tasting, but now we're in for a whole new different type of tasting as we're here in downtown Norfolk at the Town Point Club for their annual champagne tasting. And what better way to bring in the new year and the holidays than a little taste of the bubbly. So let's go check out what's going on at Town Point Club's annual champagne tasting. We're here with Ali Halatai, the general manager of the Town Point Club. And first of all, thank you for having us here and part of this event.
Our pleasure.
Can you tell us, first of all, a little bit about the Town Point Club itself?
Sure. Town Point Club has been here for 34 years, and it's part of a larger group, Club Corp. There's about 300 clubs that we own throughout the country. And it's really a place to hang out, meet good people, or relax.
What's great about tonight's event is not only is it open up to members, but also non-members and guests can come and attend the champagne tasting, can't they?
That's right, that's right. We do an annual champagne tasting, and it gives you an opportunity to taste 5 or 6 different champagne or sparkling wines. And just in time for holidays, it's a good time to purchase. So if you taste something you like, you can get purchased at a wholesale price.
And it's also a great way, if you're not a member yet, to experience the Town Point Club and see some of the events that go on and the activities, and also to just check out the club. Well, I know you've got a lot going on tonight.
I do,
and thanks for taking a few minutes. But Ali, thank you again.
Thank you.
Ali is the general manager here at Town Point Club in downtown Norfolk.
45-degree angle. You hold the top. Now, if you were professional restaurant service, we would basically do this with a little serviette over top. But you're gonna push the top down, you're gonna grab the bottom and turn the bottle, not mess with the cork. So you turn the bottle, I can feel the champagne pushing out, 5 to 6 atmospheres of pressure. There's more pressure in here than your car tire. So if you wanna feel how scared you should be, try to fill up your car tire to about 80 pounds of pressure and watch if you don't flinch when that sucker blows up. So I'm pushing, turning, and I'm gonna give just a slight little burp to the whole thing. Just it shouldn't be more than just a little whiff.
Well done. Really excited to be here with the annual champagne tasting.
Yes.
But can you tell me what your role is? I know there's going to be some pairings and some appetizers or hors d'oeuvres. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, no, with champagne, everything goes with champagne. So we did, of course, we've done some figs and mascarpone because figs and champagne, they do really well on the different cheeses. We have a huge charcuterie board that we've done with house-made mortadella, copa, different salamis, different cheese spreads and such. It's the holiday time, so we incorporated some cranberries in there as well. Some different grilled breads and everything. House-made smoked salmon mousse with a little roe and little house crackers that we do. Different strawberries with chocolate and white chocolate liqueur fudge that we do with them. Just everything goes really well with champagne, and of course truffles. Did some.
You gotta have the truffles.
You gotta have the truffles, and we. Since we're Town Point, we had to do a little gold dust on them. Roll them around in some edible gold as well. So you've got gold and raspberry truffles in there.
You said edible gold?
Edible gold.
I guess, Town Point. I guess there are perks to being a member of Town Point Club. Well, look, I know you've got a lot on your plate, no pun intended, but we're going to let you go. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Once again, everyone, this is Executive Chef Eddie Lee of the Town Point Club here in downtown Norfolk. It was really interesting and in some cases fascinating, the facts and information that were shared with us. Did you find that to be true too?
I did. I think that it's good when you have tastings like this. What elevates it, like you said, is the education component. So now that you leave here and you're going to Thanksgiving dinner like some of us will be getting cases of, and you're able to explain to your guests, oh, this is why this is this, or this is actually a sparkling wine and not a champagne, and really be able to have like the extra edge, so to speak, on what that is.
We've had a great time here tonight at Town Point Club's annual champagne testing. I'd like to give a special thanks to Ali, the general manager, and executive chef Eddie Lee, as they were wonderful hosts. And if you haven't planned to go next year, you should really consider to take part in this wonderful event here at Town Point Club in downtown Norfolk. Well, I guess that's pretty much a wrap, and it's time for me and the crew to, well, experience some of the bubbly ourselves because, oh, it is the start of the holiday season. Cheers. Welcome back. It's time for this week's new segment of the 5-Minute Chef featuring Andre DiCarlo of La Bella in Ghent.
I'm Andre DiCarlo, chef and owner of La Bella in Ghent, and on the 5-Minute Chef, I'll be showing you how to make calamari trapanese. And if you don't know how to pronounce it, don't worry about it. It's still gonna be good, and I'm gonna show you how to make it. So we're gonna start with extra virgin olive oil. On the 5-Minute Chef, we show you how to make dishes using ingredients you can find at your local supermarket. Once the oil gets hot, you're gonna put sliced onions and your chopped fennel. It's important to use the fresh fennel with the fronds, which is the frilly top of the fennel, because that's where most of the flavor comes from. Fennel is a vegetable. It's got a licorice flavor, kind of sweet and bitter raw, but when you cook it down, it turns to a little bit sweeter. So you want to let it go for about 20-30 seconds until all the sugars start to kind of come out and you get a little browning on the onions there. The next ingredient we're going to add is your sliced calamari. You can find these already cut in your supermarket or go to your local fish store, and I'm sure they can find fresh stuff and cut it for you. And about a cup of fresh tomatoes right in there just like that. Now once you put the tomatoes in there, it's important to not let the tomatoes catch fire and let all that sugar caramelize and sort of scorch. So now you let that cook. So this is the saffron that we have dissolved in a little bit of water. You're just gonna pour that in. It's gonna give it this beautiful golden color, plus give it the most unique flavor that you've ever had. And you can already start to see how beautiful that sauce is gonna look. Next thing, pine nuts, golden raisins, black pepper, and your salt. So now you got all the ingredients in here. They're gonna start cooking. The moisture is gonna come out of the calamari. It's gonna start building this sauce really, really nice. So we're gonna let that cook. While we're doing that, I got my fresh fettuccine. You can find this at your local supermarket, packaged, frozen. If you want to make it yourself, you can look up the recipe. It's very easy to do, it's perfect for this dish. I got my pre-salted pasta water going back here. Got this cooking nice. You can almost hear it singing. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but this sauce is singing to me. and the smells that are coming out of it are really, really nice. So calamari generally takes about, 4 or 5 minutes to cook. But rule of thumb is don't be afraid to reach down in there, pick one up, throw it in your mouth. That's just how we do. Let that cook nice. Got the pasta in here cooking. The fettuccine, once it starts to float and the water starts to kind of stir it, that means it's ready. If I got this sauce here building nice, well, I'm gonna show you guys a little trick that my mother taught me. Hopefully, I'm gonna tell you guys, and the next time I see her, she's not gonna be waiting with a shovel and a tarp when she sees me, because it's her secret. You take a little bit of the pasta water, throw it right in there, because that starch and that water from the pasta is gonna really help everything tie together. So we're lucky, tomatoes are ripe right now. If you're dealing with tomatoes that aren't so ripe, get a little palmy tomato in the little carton and put it in there to give it a little extra color. Otherwise, little homemade marinara sauce, tomato sauce, whatever you got at home, throw it in there. This sauce is virtually ready. So here's the spinning I'm talking about. You can kind of see how the water's boiling and the pasta's just kind of going round and round like a merry-go-round. You're good to go on that. We're gonna pull it out. So we already added some pasta water, so we don't need any more. We're gonna drain that nice and lemon ice. Throw it right in there. And now the other important thing, whenever you're making pasta, it's not throw it in the bowl, put the sauce on top. That's like a divorce waiting to happen. You gotta let it cook because all the ingredients have to marry together. See, the pasta has to get coated. That starch is kind of coming off, so you want to lock it in and have it absorb all that beautiful, beautiful sauce down there. It's like a Sicilian gold right now. It's so beautiful. Just like that. Once it's done, you got your plate. You can double, triple, or quadruple up the portion if you got friends coming over, your wife, your girlfriend, whatever you have. Double it up. You take it to the plate, and you kind of want to do like this. You're getting like a little mound, and if you got a big fork, you can twirl it on there. I just grab it just like that, and I twirl it just like that. Nice pile, and you just put the ingredients right on the center so that all the juice runs down into the center like it's a volcano. It goes to the bottom. Nice. Here it is, one of my favorite dishes to make and eat, calamari trapanese. I'm the 5-minute chef.
Well, that's a wrap on another episode. And remember, you can get social with us on Facebook, as well as seeing past episodes and individual destinations anytime, anywhere on our website. So until next time, I'm Kevin, and we're kicking it, where? In the 757. See ya.